So welcome everyone, and I'm so happy to have you all here today with the lovely and fabulous Nicole from Picasso Media. The reason I have Nicole on today is because I know for many of you, SEO and being able to do it yourself and actually even have a vague understanding of it can definitely be a huge challenge for us at the best of times. So when I heard that Nicole had released her course, which is a course on SEO for, basically for us, regular lay people to understand and be able to do it, I knew I had to have her on. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Nicole and she can take it away from here. Nicole, thanks for having it. Thanks for being online, I should say.
Thanks, Ali. Hi, everyone. I'm really, really excited to be here. Yes, as Ali was saying, I have basically released a course recently with SEO. I'm really passionate about teaching small business SEO because there's a lot of people out there who are sort of, taking the piss basically of companies out there. Am I allowed to say that? Yeah, so I mean, that is sort of the premise behind it, is just to empower you to actually know what's happening on your website. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm losing my voice today, which is really good. And then we're just going to go, I'll just give you a bit of a run through what we're going to cover today. It's all well and good with SEO to sort of do a lot of work on your website. However, you need to have the website working really well as the SEO happening so that you're going to be converting clients. So I'm just going to grab my presentation up. Can everyone see that?
Yeah, we can, Nicole. And also, before we start, I should let everyone know that there should be a live chat box there. So if you have any questions along the way, feel free to pop them in there and I will jump in from time to time and ask those questions of Nicole or ask them of her at the end. So absolutely pop those questions in there as we're going as well.
Great. Excellent. Cool. So I guess just to give you a bit of an overview as to what we're going to be covering today, I'm going to just give you a really good understanding about what SEO is and why it's really important on your website, plus just the basic things that you're going to need on your website to be able to monitor traffic. It's really important to know what's happening with your website and how much traffic's coming so that you can see what's working and what's not. We'll also be covering a little bit of on-page SEO, which is where all the fun stuff happens. And then also just covering off, like I was saying, it's all well and good to have SEO, but if your site doesn't look good, it's not going to convert clients. So it's a bit of give and take with both of those things. So just covering off what makes a really good homepage. And we're also, because I don't like just staring at a presentation, I'm going to review 2 websites as well later and just give you a bit of a real-time view as to what we do with SEO. And then we'll have questions as well at the end. So basically what SEO is you'll have people that are going to Google. Google is obviously the top search engine, so it's basically what we all are trying to get to, that prime position of page 1, position number 1. So basically what people will do is when they're trying to find a service is they're going to go to Google and they'll be typing in something that, a keyword basically that they want to find someone who is specialized in that area. So as an example, social media virtual assistant. So keywords can be detailed or they can be quite generic. The aim, or what we try and do with our clients, is to really be quite defined with what we're doing and quite detailed. So as an example, which we have on the screen, you've got women's shoes, which is really general. You're going to come up against a whole lot of basically examples that are going to come up in Google. Whereas if you're searching for a virtual assistant, rather than just typing in virtual assistant, if you're looking for someone to help you out with social media, you would probably be better off typing in social media virtual assistant. Or even, drilling it down even further. If you're looking for a virtual assistant that specializes in Instagram, you might look up, Instagram social media virtual assistant. So that basically, when we go through these, it kind of works on the buying process basically. So obviously we're all in here to make money. We want people coming to our websites. We want people to buy or to inquire online. So the idea is to sort of be further down the buying process when people are searching. So as an example, going back to our women's shoes, if I was looking for, say, women's runners, or, you know, I want to buy a pair of Nike runners, I'm going to probably look for that. If I'm further down that buying process, I know that I want runners, I know that I want a pair of women's runners, and I know that I want Nike. So I'm again that further down the buying process than if I'm just looking up women's shoes, because that's going to give me a whole heap of different examples. So I will jump onto Google in a minute and go through that. Short keywords are generally sort of 1 to 2 words. And then they're generally a lot harder to rank because they've got a lot more higher competition. So another good example would be searching for a business coach. There's going to be so much competition with that. Whereas if you're actually looking for someone who specialises in actually, you know, providing business processes, or you're looking for someone in Melbourne, you're going to have a lot less competition if you're going to refine what you're looking for. So that's kind of the basic guide as to what we would be doing. The long keywords are generally 3 or 4 keywords within the phrase. And they're generally a lot easier to rank for. Sorry, my screen's playing up. Let's just jump over to Google really quickly. And just give you a bit of a run through as to what I was talking about. So what we do, we have a lot of success with local sort of financial services and things like that, tradesmen, all of those types of things, because they have, generally they'll have like a specific area that they're targeting. So as an example, Central Coast Financial Advisor, when we bring this up, it is going to give me a whole heap of different lists and things like that. So what we're aiming for is what we're talking about today is actually organic listing. So as you go down, like these are all advertisements. So people are actually paying to be here. And then we've got the Google Maps, which we might touch on if I've got time a little bit later on. But the organic listing is here. So basically we want to be up the top. So you can see Fortunity, they're the ones that are sitting up the top. And then as you go down, you'll see 10 results per page. So again, further down the track, when I speak about how you monitor what your keywords, where they're ranking, ideally you want to be within those top, or ideally top 5. Generally the first 5 will get the most results. But I mean, ideally you want to be on page number 1. You don't really want to go on to page number 2 and 3, which is sort of as you go down. Cool. And very excitingly, I've actually got quite a few clients here. So one client there, and another client here. So that works really well. Anyway, jumping back over. So the things that you're going to need to do to be able to sort of monitor your traffic is, the big thing is going to actually be knowing your keywords. It's all well and good to sort of have, you know, popping keywords that you think are going to work, but you really need to sort of know what people are actually searching for. A good way to do this, you can actually, I've seen a lot of people recently sort of putting on social media and just asking and just getting a little bit of feedback as to what people would search when they're looking for keywords and trying to refine what they're doing. There's also keyword tool things. Google have a really good one. You do need to have a Google Ads account now, I think, to get into that, which is really frustrating. It used to be a free tool, or it is still free, but you need to pop in, you need to basically create an ad to be able to use it. And I'll send some examples home of where you can do some research later on. Just going to jump back over. Another good way to sort of look as to what's happening in terms of keywords is when you search in, so say as an example, we've got little organics. So we might type in organic baby products. Again, we'll touch on their website a bit later. But you can see all the different results that come up when you type that in. And then down the bottom, it actually gives, Google will give you examples as to different related searches, which is a really good place to start if you're not sure as to what your keywords would be. So that gives you a really good guide. It generally brings up the most popular searches related to those products. So it will give you a really good idea as to what you can do. once we've basically decided what we're doing with our keywords, you're then going to come over and you're going to sort of have to start tracking what's happening on your site. So they're products that we recommend, and they're free. Google Webmaster, which will monitor the way your website's working. It's a really good one for security. So it's probably not necessarily for SEO per se. It does help get your site ranking in Google if it's, or indexed actually in Google if it's a brand new site. Google Analytics is the big one. So if you don't have Google Analytics installed on your website, it's definitely a must. It gives you a whole range of different statistics on the site. So basically how many people are coming to your website, where they're going, where they're coming from, what they've searched. It's a really great program. So I probably won't get time to actually cover off how analytics actually works, but it's definitely something that you'll need to have. And I'm happy to answer any questions in the Facebook event if anyone wants to know a little bit more about Google Analytics. For those who are on WordPress, Yoast SEO is a must-have as well. It's a really good program, which I will show you in a minute. And that basically allows us to tweak the on-page SEO so that you can, so you can basically tweak all of your different pages so that you know what you're doing. Before I keep going, I know I'm talking really quickly. Does anyone have any questions about what we've talked about so far?
No, there's no questions at the moment, Dals.
No, okay,
and I can't think of any at the moment either. I definitely do believe though that you do have to be doing even just like a minimum ad spend now to actually be able to research keywords through Google Webmaster.
Yeah, they've been playing around with that. There are other tools out there that you can use as well. So I will give you a list of those.
Yeah.
I really do prefer the Google keyword tool, but yeah, it's very frustrating. I think that you do need to put in credit card details and stuff like that now, but you can pause the ad so it doesn't actually, you basically would go through and create your ad and use it to search your keywords and then you can pause it. So it's a bit of a pain, but you can definitely do that. Okay. So again, I will touch on all of these a little bit further as we're doing the on page. So this is the fun part. Sorry, I'm losing my voice today. So on-page SEO basically is how we're going to get your website to work really well with Google. It's what we do with our clients, and basically it's how Google will read your website and know what your website's all about. So the big things that you're going to need on your website are title tags and description. And again, I will go through this and show you exactly what I mean a little bit further on as we go through everything. You would need headings on your with keywords in it. This is one of the big things. Those two are the big things that you really need on your website. That's how Google definitely reads your website. You're basically telling Google what your page is about. Your page URLs, having your keywords within them. Again, when you're uploading your images to your website, and this is really important for e-commerce websites, or it's important for everyone, but particularly if you're doing an e-commerce website, when you're uploading your images of the product, you would want to have your keywords within there. So going back to the social media virtual assistant, if you've got a page on your website that you're talking about your social media virtual assistant services, you would upload an image with that keyword in there. And then again, within the wording that you're writing, having your keywords within the wording. Okay. All right, friend, let's jump over to the fun part. Now, this is my website. And I'm going to use this as an example because I have, obviously, I've spent a lot of time getting my website to look the way it should and work really well with Google. So one of the keywords that I'm targeting is small business website design. So as we go through the pages, I'm going to just run through exactly how we've sort of integrated this in based on what I was just talking about. So up here, when I was saying the title tags and description, when you hover over your tab up the top, you can see that that is your title tag. So the title tag is really important. It is what is going to differentiate you from any other site. So let's just, I'll bring my site up in Google.
I was going to say that's quite small as well, Nicole, to see.
Yeah,
So
I know,
maybe just read it as well, just so we know.
Oh, okay, yep, no worries. So up at the top, you can see that I've got my keywords in here. So it's saying small business web design, and then again, it's sort of repeated down here. So the idea is to sort of really get that within the site as much as you can, with it making sense. You don't want to sort of just bombard the wording that you're doing with your keyword over and over again, because what you're talking about is not going to make sense, but you can do it in a logical way. So the rest of it is Central Coast web design, which is, that's my local area. So I'm trying to target both. So the small business website design is more of a national keyword, and then the Central Coast web design is more of my local area. So I'm trying to target both. And you can see as I'm talking in here, I mentioned that we're a leading Central Coast web design company and marketing agency. So that's, again, it ties into what we do, but it also ties into Google as well. So that's your aim. So in here, and it's really frustrating, you can't actually see it up here. Right, so this is basically what we're doing when we're setting our title tag, is we're telling Google what this here is going to be. So that is how Google knows what your website's about. And you have the good thing with WordPress, and this is why people will rave about WordPress being good for SEO. And look, a lot of the other companies like Wix and things like that have their own SEO functionality as well. So you do have that control to be able to set every single page a custom title tag, essentially. So your title tag is going to be for Google, and then the description tag that I mentioned is this here. So that's going to be more for the reader. You do target it a little bit for Google. However, the aim is it's basically an advertisement. So you really want to be speaking to people who are searching for that company. Or, you know, if I'm trying to find a small business website design company, that's really going to entice me to then click through. You know, if I was to type in small business web design, you know, why would someone click through onto my website rather than someone else? So you can see that, you know, we're sitting there at number 3 at the moment. So why would someone click through to me over Hopping Mad? It's just, so that's basically what we do, is this here is to really entice people to click through. And what we do, we also try and get a little keyword in as well, which you can see here. So we're repeating ourselves. So we've selected that one keyword. Even though it's 4 words, it's actually one keyword phrase. And what we try and do is we try and get it through as much as we possibly can within the website. And again, as we scroll down, you can see that it's sitting here as well. And so this is the content. So switching back to the presentation, how we were talking about headings with keywords. So we've covered the title tag and description. So headings are the next big thing. So when Google reads your site, they firstly look at your title tags, and then the second thing they will look at is your headings. And it's basically so most websites will have heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, and so on, usually all the way down to heading 6. And so what it does is it reads the heading based on based on the way we've actually allocated the headings. And again, I'll jump into WordPress in a minute to show you exactly what I mean and how we do that. But basically, this is a heading 1 tag here. And so heading 1 is always the first thing that it will read, and then heading 2 and so on. All right. So does that make sense so far as to where we're at?
Well, it definitely makes sense to me, but that's because I understand SEO.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm just hoping that everyone else is keeping up. I haven't got any.
No questions? Okay, cool.
No questions yet. So
okay.
Also, one other thing, Nicole, that I think is important, which I think a lot of people don't know, is in the meta title, you've got the keyword, and then you've got a line, and then you've got another word.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't realise that you actually you can't just have them all written as one, because then Google will read it all as one.
That's right. Sorry, that is a very good point. So you can see in my listing here that I do have the vertical line. That basically separates the keyword. So Google knows that we've got the 2 different keywords that we're essentially targeting. Actually, generally, I say to only target 1 keyword per page because I am trying to target both. I'm probably going against my own advice. However, I'll go through that as well. Like, one of the good things as well, just touching on that, is one of the things that we actually find works really, really well is a lot of people, when they're building a site, and particularly when they're starting out, they're like, I just need a 5-page website. I don't need anything else. I just need 5 pages. However, you know, they might have home, about, services, testimonials, contact. They're generally the first 5 that you would have on your website. But I find that having just 1 big services page makes it really difficult to target all the different services you do. I mean, generally we won't just have the 1 service. So as an example, you know, under marketing, we do, we've got like a marketing assistant type of service. We've got our SEO, we've got social media and email marketing. So we have a page for each. And the reason we do that is because it just allows me to really target those different areas, because obviously it's going to be, we're targeting different people for each thing. So that works really well. If you've got a website, you know, say as a virtual assistant, you might do a drop down. So services, you might have social media, virtual assistant, you might have email marketing. You could also have, you know, calendar and, you know, email management. So they're probably, I would split them onto 3 different pages, because they're going to, I'm going to target 3 different people based on what service I'm offering. So that's something to really keep in mind when you're doing that. And like what I was saying here, only targeting 1 keyword per page. So that allows you to be able to do that. So I'm just going to jump in to WordPress.
While you're doing that, Nicole, I was going to say 100% agree, because we were working with a psychologist and she had all of her services on 1 page, and one was counselling individuals and one was counselling couples.
Yes.
And there was no way that we could optimise for people searching for individual counselling or couples counselling until we broke the pages apart. So
yep, absolutely. And
it makes complete sense.
Yeah, you definitely, and in particular e-commerce as well. Your categories is like a very, very important part of the way you're doing, the way your SEO will work. So really, like a lot of people when they're doing an e-commerce site, they kind of just throw categories in without too much sort of thought as to how it's going to work. So if you actually spend the time before you were doing, for those who haven't actually got a website right now, if you have the time, it's better to actually focus on how you want to lay everything out and then build the website, rather than sort of having that website built and then, you know, tweaking it back. Either way, obviously it's still doable, because we do that with clients all the time. But it is, yeah, if you haven't built one already, it's a great idea to keep an eye on that. Now, I'm just going to show you. Actually, I've got so many pages, I'll just jump back to the home page. So I'm going to edit my page, and I'll just show you how we actually tell Google to use these title tags and descriptions. So this is using the Yoast SEO plugin that I mentioned earlier. So that's installed under plugins, and you can just search for Yoast and it should come up. So as we scroll down, you can see that we've got the Yoast SEO plugin here. Now this will work very, very similar with platforms like Wix, Shopify, Squarespace. They all have their own certain area where you can actually tweak this. So it works very similar, but obviously WordPress is the most popular, so we'll touch on that today. So if I wanted to make a change here, and I might decide that I don't want to target Central Coast Web Design anymore, I might want to target Sydney. So all you do is you basically click on the heading and it allows you to then edit. So we would then switch it over to here, and you can see it gives me a live preview as to what it's now going to look like. So it takes a couple of days. If I was to hit save, it would take a few days for it then to replicate over here. And what it may do, because I've changed my keyword, is I would probably then drop down from position 3 or wherever I'm sitting with that keyword. So just be really mindful when you're making changes. And this is where that monitoring your traffic will come into it, because you want to make sure if you've made a change, you need to make sure that the change is actually working. So that's basically it. We've also got the description here, so you can type in over the top. Again, like I was saying, we try and get the keyword into both places, and Yoast actually allows you to put a focus keyword in, and it'll give you some really good examples as to what you can improve on your website on that particular page. So we've got small business web design there. And then as you go down, I mean, it's still telling me that, you know, it doesn't focus in the first paragraph of the body. It does. I don't know why it's not picking it up, but it is in there as the first paragraph. And again, the keyword density is saying that it's a little bit low. So it does want me to increase the keyword a little bit, but to be honest, I don't think it needs to go up. So it is a bit of a trial and error. So it will give you examples, and you can just play. SEO is very much a trial and error thing. You might tweak something, it may work, it may not. Generally though, everything I'm telling you, you should see an increase. It's not, anything I'm telling you now is probably not going to actually decrease your site unless you've picked a keyword that's not going to work. So that's why it's really important to know these keywords so that you can really target what you're trying to do. Now,
and also, Nicole, you have to have a self-hosted WordPress site and not hosted on,
that's right,
on WordPress.
Yeah, so WordPress.com I think gives you a very basic. I think they did bring it in a little. Yeah, I'd have to actually double check that. But yes, I mean, the ideal way would be to have self-hosted with WordPress. It gives you so much more control over absolutely everything on your site. So that's really important.
And people know that they have some people might be confused, who might not know. If they're hosted by WordPress, it'll actually have .wordpress.com in their URL, won't it?
Yes, it will, yeah. Well, sometimes.
Okay.
You can actually pay WordPress.com, you can pay to have your own URL. So, yeah, sometimes you may not be sure. If you can't access plugins and things like that, you potentially would be on WordPress.com. But if you're not sure, I'd be happy to have a look and answer that anyway. And also, it would actually depend on where you log in. So generally with WordPress.com, you would actually log in over here. So you would log in on the actual WordPress site. So if you're on a self-hosted, you would generally have your own domain name with the admin login at the end, which is where I logged into my website before. So that would give you a bit of a guide anyway as to how it's working. All right. Okay, so that kind of touches on the headings. Oh, actually, I didn't show you how to do heading 1, sorry. Okay, now your page might look different. I'm using a builder system, but basically this is, if we click on to edit the content, this is this paragraph here. So I have set this to be heading 1. So the way you can tell how you can assign that to, if you've created a heading with your keywords in that, you're going to assign it to heading 1. So it's literally a matter of highlighting and hovering over, making it heading 1. So I've turned it back to paragraph, but you basically do that. And again, say if I wanted to make this heading 2, so if I wanted that to be the next thing that's read by Google, I'd make that heading 2. But I generally just stick with one heading and then the content written underneath. I find that works really well, and we've had a lot of success doing that. Now, the other thing, which is a little bit out of line, but while we're in here, we'll talk about it, is actually getting your keywords into this wording. So it's a very fine line between having content that's going to read really well, and you're going to talk about what you're doing, and the services that you offer, or the products that you're selling, combined with then actually getting those keywords in. So it's got to be a really good mix. It has to read well. You can't just go small business web design and, you know, continually putting that in, because it's not going to make any sense. So I kind of do it in quite a natural way. So when I'm talking about my website design services, we're linking through to our website design page. So number one, it's creating a bit of an internal links through the site. Number 2, it makes it easy. So if they're going, oh, cool, I want to see what they do for website design, they can easily click. And it also just helps from a Google perspective as well. So trying to do that through your site is a really good way. Just trying to see what else. So even strategic marketing, I might see that and go, all right, I want to link that to my marketing page. So I'd create a link to my marketing page, and that would, yeah, again, it provides that link throughout the site and easily for people to navigate. Now, there are a lot of, and this is really in particular with e-commerce sites, is that they will have like a site which is just really image heavy. So ideally, even if you can get one paragraph like this onto your e-commerce page, maybe even at the bottom, it doesn't matter where it's sitting, but you need some text, because you're not, like, I find that websites with e-commerce that don't have any sort of wording at all, or they might just have a couple of headings, you're not going to rank. You really need about a minimum of about 300 words per page. This probably isn't even 300, but because I've got more as we go down. So here we touch on our small business marketing packages, and they can click through. So it's, yeah, I mean, every website's different, but ideally, if you don't have a lot of text, Google's not going to be able to read your website, and it's not going to rank as well as if it would if you've got the text there like we do. And again, I've probably got a lot of text compared to what some people would want. So it's just, again, it's that trial and error, and just sort of seeing if you're finding that your website's not ranking as much, maybe getting a bit more text in there. Okay, now the next thing, which I think I covered, was the images. Oh, sorry, the page URLs with your keywords. So this is sort of where I was saying before how we have marketing. So I might touch on the SEO page, and it's going to be really difficult for you to see, but my page URL for this, when we're targeting our individual services, I will have our keyword in the URL itself. So this one is picassomedia.com.au/small business SEO. There's a dash between each word. That's best practice for Google, to have the dash in between each word. And again, it works. I mean, we've only really just started targeting small business SEO, so we're not all the way up there, but it's definitely something that we're getting closer to being up there.
Sorry, Nicole.
That's okay.
A couple of questions.
Yep.
So Don from Little Organic said, hi, should your heading 1 be in line with the keyword you were targeting for that page?
Yes, absolutely, definitely. So, and again, you can see here, so as we go down, like the on-page SEO, my URL has small business SEO, my heading has small business SEO, and then we've got a heading 1 tag here, small business SEO. So I'm hitting it 3 times straight up. And this, hopefully, if I've actually done my SEO correctly, sorry, my image should actually be, why is it not showing me? The image should have small business SEO as well. So if you can ideally have those 4 things, so your page URL, or sorry, 5 things, so your title tag, your page URL, 1 heading, the image called the same, and then your content throughout the site and your title tag, like that will give you a really good start with your SEO.
And Ali has said that, sorry, does that mean you attach a link to your images? But what you're saying is you put in the keyword.
When I name my image, basically. So this is before I even upload my image to the site. So as a, let's jump into my media library. Whenever I'm creating an image for any particular page for a service, we will actually call it, give it a name. So here we've got, you can see the file name. So basically outside of WordPress or outside of Wix, outside of all of those programs, we would create our image. And when I'm saving the image, I would give it the file name, small business SEO, with the dashes in between.
Don't you also put it in the alt text box as well?
Yeah, generally you can.
Okay.
I haven't with this, but when it uploads it, the title's actually more important than the alt tag, or they're both important, okay. But the title as well, yeah. So, I mean, I can essentially do it for both. Yeah, it depends on how detailed you don't. If you're really going hard for your SEO, then definitely do your alt tag, but it's enough to just upload it with the name.
So, and then Donna said, I'm not sure I understand this. So does that mean the keyword, though, should have a small dash business dash SEO instead of space?
Yes. Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yep. So instead of when you're naming your images, I mean, some people will leave a space. So they might go small space, business space, SEO. I generally will do the dash.
Okay. And you might cover this off later, but Jo Davey wants to know, is there an SEO review service or something? She has no idea how her website rates in terms of SEO, in brackets, business owner walk of shame.
That's okay. A lot of people don't know, so don't be too worried about that. There's, I mean, obviously we can do a review for you, but there is, and I will touch on it later, but say we did SEO Optimizer have a free reviewer. So this is the little organics results. I just pop all of my clients through, or pop anyone that I'm reviewing through this. So it basically, and again, I'll touch on it later, but it'll go through and say that the SEO is good or, you know, needs improvement, and it'll give you a guide as to what you need to be doing. But yeah, I mean, as I say, I can happily review it for you. So does that make sense with the dash and the space?
I think we're all across it, and I think all questions have been answered, so you can continue on.
Okay, so I think I've touched on pretty much everything. They are literally the most important things that you can do for your SEO, and I guarantee you will see an increase. I can't promise that you would go to page number 1, because that's just, you can never promise that. And if any SEO company is promising you page 1, then find someone else. Because a lot of people will promise and say, oh, I can get you to page number 1. I mean, obviously it is the aim. However, yeah, it's just, you can never guarantee it, because there's so many additional factors. Factors as to how you would actually rank would be the age of your domain name. So if you're a brand new website, and we find this, this is a really common thing. So we might go live with a website 2 weeks ago, and my clients will come back and say, my website's not ranking, I'm not on page number 1. And it's like, okay, it's a time thing. If you want immediate results, go down the road of Google AdWords. It's really quick to set up, expensive, depending on your keywords. But if you want a long-term SEO strategy to work, it's worth actually investing that time in the SEO. And again, what we're doing today, it's common sense. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to take a little bit of time. And I'm talking maybe 1 hour, like setting aside 1 hour and looking at your keywords, and then looking at what you can do on your website to improve that. And if you're not sure how to actually implement it, you can find there's heaps of people out there, you know, virtual assistants that could do it. You know, obviously we can. There's marketing companies that can actually do it for you. And just sort of, yeah, it's really important to sort of just spend a little bit of time on doing that, because there's no, you know, you can put a website out there, but unless someone's actually finding it, you're not going to get clients or customers. So I guess that kind of is a good starting point to actually bring me to how your website can actually improve your conversions.
Sorry, Nicole, can I just jump in just quickly? Isn't one other thing that you sort of need to have, which is important, is backlinks?
Yeah, I was going to touch on backlinks
cool.
when we do the review.
Great. Cover that then. Keep going.
Yeah, well, backlinks are a little, like they are. Most SEO companies will tell you that they're like crazy important. They are important, but honestly, I think your on-page SEO trumps backlinks. Like we have had success without doing any backlinks, just by doing the on-page SEO. And probably it's more for like a local business. So say as an example, my dad actually has a local handyman business up here, and I did the SEO on his site, and he's been sitting there on page number 1, position number 1 or 2, I think he is, with no backlinks, none. And he's been there for 2 years now. And he rings me constantly saying, can you please take my website down? Because I have too many clients. Anyway, I get distracted. So touching on the website layout, we actually have a download, which I'm going to give to Ali to send to all of you. But it's basically, it's a 45-point homepage checklist. So this is everything that you need and what your website really needs to be able to convert, because it's all well and good. Even if you were to sit here and do all of this SEO, if your website looks terrible, you're not going to convert. So it needs to be a really good mix of your SEO working and your website looking amazing. If you're not sure if your website looks amazing, let me know. I'm happy to, very honest, give very honest feedback as to what websites should be looking like. But as a guide, this will run through the sort of the ideas as to what you really need. So the first thing is sort of having a big bar up the top, either with a free offer, making sure that your phone numbers are prominent on the site. It's really, really important to make it easy for clients to contact you. Whether that's a phone number, whether it's your email, whatever you prefer. I actually like to do both because some people prefer to call, some people prefer email. So it kind of covers both of those things. Your logo needs to look professional and not too big. Recently, like there's been a lot of websites out there and the logo takes up nearly the entire page, or it will take up sort of the first half of the page. So no one really cares what your logo looks like. I know that's really harsh, but no one cares. It just needs to look professional, sit up the top. People want to know what you do and how you can help them. So if you're not telling people the minute they get to your site what you do, you're going to be losing customers. So it's really important to have simple and easy, effective navigation to go through your site so people can easily find what you're doing. Again, when you jump back onto my website, it's broken down into website and marketing. People can easily find what I do straight off the mark. So if you've got your services pages hidden, 3 layers down, you need to simplify things and just drill it back and make it really easy to use. Professional photography, the idea of professional imagery would be better. If you can't afford it, stock photography is perfectly fine. And then you would want to have like a heading to say what you do. Again, like if you look at the way I've laid out my website, it basically follows this layout. So we've got, the phone number at the top, the email here, we've got our social media icons, and then we've got get a quote, and then that's really easy to navigate. And as you go down, it tells you straight away what we do off the mark. It has a call to action sitting right there. Or they can click into our website packages. So it's really, really simple for people to navigate. You don't have to think, it's just there. Again, so you're compelling heading 1. I really should take heading 2 out because for SEO it should be heading 1. So you want a nice heading under here, and then some keyword rich copy, which we've just spoken about. And then the internal linking again, which we've spoken about, because that just makes it easy for people to jump around and find what they need to do. As you're going down, sort of having secondary call to actions. So we have that again as we scroll down the page. So we've got our call to actions into our website packages. We've got our free website review, which people can take advantage of. And again, we've just got different call to actions down the page. So ideally, if you can have, it might even just be get in touch. It doesn't have to be anything crazy complicated. Just to, like this package, get in touch with us today. Just trying to get people to actually take action is a really good way. And then again, your services as you go down. Now mine's a little bit different to that. We do have our services, but it's a little bit laid out a little bit different. Testimonials to sort of build that credibility. And then if you can, having a lead magnet, because obviously people won't buy straight away, or generally people will not buy straight away. It takes them about 5 to 6 touches with your business before people sort of know, like, and trust you and want to start doing business with you. So that lead magnet there is a really good starting point. And then as you go down, just a little bit more about yourself and why you do what you do. So you can see this. I'll shoot this over to everyone and you can have a look. But ideally, if you can get as many of these features into your site, you're going to find that your website's going to convert a lot more easily, basically. Cool. So does anyone have any questions on that before we dive into the reviews?
Yep, just one more question on the dashes. Someone said, doesn't WordPress put dashes in anyway after you save because it doesn't recognise spaces?
Oh, with the URLs?
Potentially, or the the title in behind the image, I'm assuming they're referring to?
No, generally they won't put
Okay.
with the media, but they will with
the URLs.
with the URLs. Yeah. So like the who are we type of thing. That's something that I've never really tweaked because I don't have to really, but that is what it used to be called, the who are we page. So it'll go who-are-we. It does it automatically. Don't have to worry.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the other thing was, what about pop-ups, as in sign-ups?
Pop-ups are a really hard one. Google.
Aren't they now being marked down by Google if you have that on your site?
To be honest, I haven't actually looked into what the conditions are about because it's quite a new thing. You still can use them, but there are certain ways it has to be set up for Google to not penalise you. I think it's actually mainly on the mobile because when pop-ups come up on the mobile, it can make it really not user-friendly, basically. So yeah, it's you just have to be really mindful. I don't like them personally anyway. And while they do increase your sign-ups, I find that they generally piss people off and they want to leave your site. So yeah, obviously it's a personal preference. I generally try to avoid them, but then I've got clients that love them. So it's completely a personal thing. I don't use them at all.
Cool.
Yeah, but I will let everyone know, mate, about the SEO implications for the pop-up. So
beautiful. That's it. Continue.
Cool. So basically what we did earlier, as I said to Ali, just to make it a little bit more fun and sort of just to, again, like I don't like looking at presentations, so just to make it more fun, we thought we'd go through 2 websites and I can just give some feedback as to what you can improve on and, you know, what's working well, what's not. So first of all, we'll look at Alison's website, which is pediatricmassage.com.au. So I have gone through, we obviously popped this through the reviewer. It is saying that it could be better in terms of the SEO, and I will send you the report as well, Alison, just so you can have a look. So this basically goes through and, you know, just says that the heading tags need to be better. So they're basically the headings that we were talking about. The description tag it's not picking that up. Now I know your website I think is Wix, from what I could tell. So Wix will have its own area. Sorry, I'm on the wrong site. Wix will have its own area where you can actually tweak all of the title tags and descriptions for the page. So maybe just have a look at that. Probably the biggest thing that I found within your website is, number one, this is just taking up way too much room. Like, I mean, apart from that, I can see pediatric massage instruction, but what does that kind of actually mean? And what do you do for your clients? So it's, that's probably not necessarily an SEO, but just from a conversion point of view, people have to scroll a fair way to actually see what you're doing straight up. So some ideas for keywords for you. I know you mentioned infant massage and pediatric massage. So a couple of other ideas as we scroll down, you can sort of see that you do group sessions and private sessions. So maybe like one idea would be baby massage courses in Melbourne. I can see that you are offering them mainly within Melbourne. So actually bringing that into your keywords up here would be a really good way to sort of target that area. And you can see it's really difficult because it's small, but if I hover over your title tag, it's got home first, home, and then you've got this vertical bar, Alison Bayliss, Pediatric Massage Instruction Melbourne. So the Pediatric Massage Melbourne is good. I'd probably take out the instruction, to be honest. I don't think people are going to really search for instruction. I'd probably tend to go for that baby massage course or, you know, infant massage courses, Melbourne, something like that. Obviously, if I've got your services wrong, let me know. But just as a guide, I would probably start looking at those 2 keywords. Again, because they're that little bit further down if someone was to just type in pediatric massage, they might not necessarily be looking for a course. Like they could just be looking for ways to do it at home. So if you're doing that baby massage course, Melbourne, you know, you're targeting that area, and then you're also targeting people that are further down that buying process. So that's a really good thing to start with. your description. So in here, I would definitely have a heading above here with those keywords in. Have that above, have it as heading 1 as we have gone through. And again, maybe just linking through into your different pages as you're talking about your services. That would be another area. What else? The backlinks, I think for this would be really important. I know I'd said that we don't always need them, but I think for you, because it is more of a service base and you more of a sort of within the Melbourne area, I think it would be really good to sort of look at maybe a Google Maps or Google Places listing. That would be a good start to bring up your backlinks, and then also just looking at some local directories as well would be another good start. I also noticed that you don't have Google Analytics, so if you can get that in, Wix have their own area where you can pop in the Google Analytics code. So definitely get that in, because you want to make sure you're tracking how many people are coming to and from your website. What else? The other thing from a conversion point of view, I found your navigation bar really hard to navigate, having your home, about, and then the more with the drop downs. I would probably look to maybe, that's taking up a lot of space as well. I'd maybe try and get a little logo made up, have that so it's only taking up a smaller amount of space here, and then having your navigation bar going across. It just makes it easier for people having to then sort of click in and go, oh, right, she does group sessions. I want it up the top so I can see straight away. And again, like I was saying, I'd probably remove this completely, that whole black bar. It just bring your image up, and then maybe have some wording over the top of the image, maybe a nice slider so that people can see straight up what you do. I think the imagery is fine, works really well. Yeah, and then as you're clicking in here, these images, if I was to open it up, oh, sorry, that's a Wix thing, ignore me. But I think it was called foot.jpg. So I would probably change your image names to include your, I would probably rename that and have your, say, group baby massage courses Melbourne within your image, re-upload that back up. And I would do that for all 3 images, and again for maybe this one here. So they would probably be the things that I would start with on that website. So actually, and there was one other thing that I noticed, which is on your inner pages as you go in. So if we're, say, on the group session, and this I think happens on all of them, your contact us down the bottom, it's tiny. I would make that a really big button just to make it really clear that people can get in touch. It's kind of hidden and just sort of looks like it's been plonked there. Yeah, so if you can change that into a button and tweak that, send that over to your contact page, that would be good. I don't actually think you have a contact page, so maybe creating a contact page would be another good start as well. Cool. All right, so do you have any questions with that?
No, I have been jumping over and checking, and I can't see any questions. Cool. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, she says, I used a Wix template as I'm doing it all myself. As we gathered, it was Wix.
Yep.
And she said, will you email me your recommendations, which I'm sure.
Yeah, sure. Yep, I can do that. No worries at all.
Perfect.
I'll do that this afternoon. Cool. Okay, so the next one, we have Little Organics. Now, let's jump over to the home page. Sorry, I was having a sticky beak. Cool. Now, this site, the SEO is actually fairly good on the website. There are definitely a few little things that I would change. This is your only heading tag here. I think that's the only heading 1 tag from memory. Let's have a look. So you've got your, it's saying that your page is pretty good. It does have your title tags in there, so that's fine. I probably wouldn't really make too much of a change with your title tag. And the length, the length is fine with your description. And then as you go down, it's, so you've only got the one heading 1 tag, which is this one. So I would probably try and get another, just find this is really squished in. So just from a, like, looking at it, it probably just needs to be tweaked a little bit. Your font is really small, so it makes it really hard to read. So I would definitely increase the font size, and then I would put a heading above there as well with a little bit more, organic baby products would probably be a good one just to pop in, because I mean, even like everything natural and organics for your kids is a great tagline, but it's probably not necessarily something that people are going to look for in terms of keywords. So maybe down here you could add in a different heading in here with keywords. And I would probably increase this text. It's not really enough. I would probably increase it by another 1 to 2 paragraphs, ideally, and then maybe linking through. So like with your tasty baby food, actually linking through to your baby food category, or baby food cereals, or first foods, things like that. So as you're doing that, just linking through to the different products or your gifts as well. That's a really good way to create a more linking through the site. What else have we got? The images on your products was another big thing. So as an example, I might click into the nappy bags. So this image here just has cover.jpg. So cover means nothing. So I would probably rename that image to have, eco-friendly nappy bags. I think that the category is fine, because that's something that people will definitely search for. And it's good that you've got all of this. That's awesome. So that's perfect. But yeah, just renaming. I'd probably try and get a heading in there if you can. So maybe putting a heading 1, even though it's up here with the category, I'd just try and put a heading 1 with the eco-friendly nappy bags as well. And then again, like I say, with the image, just refining that. And again, with your products, so your thumbnail images, I would rename that as well. So rename them actually with what the product name is. So you've got your backpack, making sure that whenever you're uploading images, they are actually called what the product is, because some people will actually know what they're searching for. This is very in particular with e-commerce sites. If you are selling and you've got a whole heap of different product ranges, call your products, number one, what they are actually called, have the wording throughout, and then with your images as well, making sure that they're uploaded with the name of the product rather than just backpack or something like that. So that's a really good thing. It's a big job with e-commerce, so it's good practice just to get into the habit of whenever you're creating your images to save them as the keyword, because then you're saving yourself a lot of work down the track with having to fix it all up. But yeah, I mean, overall, this is the site's fairly good SEO wise. Probably like maybe just needs a little bit of updating in terms of maybe the fonts could change, just to make it look a little bit more modern. But other than that, yeah, I think that's pretty good. So I hope that helps. And if you have any questions, just let me know.
And I'm just having a look. I've been checking, but no, nothing from Dawn. So I'm guessing she's okay.
Cool. Awesome. So
wait, she said something.
Yeah.
Insightful, thank you. How about if one product, many colours? Do you just change the colour name? So do you keep product named the same every time, but with like whatever it is white, whatever it is red, or?
Yeah, I mean, generally, obviously there's 2 ways to do it. Some people will actually upload the product. So say you might have 4 colours. People will actually upload it 4 times with the one product, or you can just have it with your drop down to choose a colour. That's completely up to you. I honestly I've never really found that it sort of impacted the SEO either way, because you're obviously, if you are uploading the product 4 times, you just need to be careful with the wording that you use, because you don't want to use the same word all the time on each page. Yeah, so I'd probably stick with the drop down of the colours, but then naming each image of the different colour. So, organic backpack red, organic backpack black. So I hope that gives you a bit of a guide.
Cool. I think that's okay.
Cool. Oh, and the other thing I noticed down here, there's like a little button, but it goes nowhere. I don't know what it's for. So that was just something little, but yeah, just have a look at that. Cool. So that's pretty much it, I think. Yeah. Call to actions, obviously, which we went through. Call to actions are a really big one, just making sure that you know, you want people to get in touch. But yeah, if anyone has any questions at all with anything to do with SEO, just let me know.
So do you want to let people know how they can contact you, or what social they can follow you on, or whatever that might be?
Yep, definitely. So, I mean, obviously, I've got my SEO e-course. You can find me at picassomedia.com.au. So, if you wanted any, you know, me to review your website or anything like that, obviously there's the form on there that you can do. We do have our SEO e-course as well, which is a 6-week e-course, which kind of walks through the exact process that I use with my clients to get their sites ranking. So it's a hell of a lot more detail than we covered today. And it goes through a whole lot of different things, such as your Google Analytics, actually choosing your keywords and how you're going to track them. Some really good tools on there to track your keywords to see if they're going up or down. It'll cover the on-page SEO in a lot more detail than what we've covered today, and just structuring your site. Plus, you know, things like blogging for business, e-commerce. We're actually about to finish recording e-commerce videos as well to jump in, so it'll actually probably be more like a 7-week e-course. But yeah, if you wanted to join me, it's normally $399. So for Motivating Mums, we're offering a $200 discount if you wanted to register. So it's a really good price. There's people out there charging a lot more than this, and the content that we cover works really, really well. And there's lots of templates and all sorts of goodies within the course that work really well. But my Facebook page, I'm on Facebook as well if you look up Picasso Media, or Instagram, which is Picasso Media as well.
Beautiful. Cool. Okay, do you want to quickly unshare your screen then? And we'll
yes.
And thank you so much for being on today, Nicole. It was really, really helpful, and I've had some messages coming through saying thanks. That was really helpful as well.
Yep.
So thank you so much. I knew it would be.
No worries.
And yeah, definitely. I mean, the price of your course is actually, when you say it's a lot more affordable, there's people that are charging 5-6 times that for an SEO course.
Yeah,
so it's like infinitely more affordable.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, so thank you so much.
No worries.
Big thank you. Oh, sorry, go for it.
No, I was going to say I will put the link in the event as well, just so that it's easier to find, because for some reason it didn't come up in my presentation. So yeah, I'll just pop it in.
Perfect. And also we will be sending out an email with the recording and also the links and stuff in there as well. As always, a huge thank you to the lovely Anita, my Google Hangout gal, who runs this all for me and usually does it perfectly.
Yes,
the email she accidentally sent today.
I was meant to send it yesterday, and we decided to send it today, but I forgot to change the tomorrow.
So there'll be people sitting there tomorrow at 11 o'clock going,
where are they?
But honestly, Anita, I could not do this without you. And in fact, I wouldn't want to do it without you, because this is one of those jobs that I would just be like, I'll just put that off to tomorrow, put it off to tomorrow. So if there is stuff that you need to get done and you really don't like doing it, that's what Anita does. And she does it well. So thank you, Anita, as well. Right, thank you so much, everybody. It was really great seeing you all again. Don't forget to follow up with Nicole if you're interested in the course. Don't forget, at Motivating Mum, we do loads and loads of stuff like mentoring and business mums clubs and affordable business services, so we can always help you. So if you need help, just give me a yell. I'm always here. And we'll catch you next time. Bye, guys.